must first do the honorable thing by expressing our sincere gratitude to SADTU, our effective affiliate whose remarkable contribution to building Cosatu is outstanding and a source of inspiration to us all. We are registering this appreciation because the evidence of such contribution could be traced to your effort in assisting other Cosatu affiliates, both in terms of human and financial resources. But also such contribution have been extended to the alliance partners. This is informed, in our view, by your understanding that SADTU will not succeed. SADTU will not be strong unless all Cosatu affiliates are strong. Comrade President, the Federation acknowledges the honesty, the integrity, and the collective leadership of the current NOBs. The hard work in building a genuine unity within the union is well appreciated. It is in this context, comrade, that we believe SADTU has a future. SADTU will live longer if we uphold this principle. The union that we need to continue the recruitment, address the gender balance, attract the youth to your structure, believing that any organization of the future must recognize the importance of leadership retention, the balancing of its gender, and the generation mix that we need as we grow to bring young people to this organization. Guiding these young fellows to the spirit and the traditions of these organizations. As we know, comrade, leaders don't live forever. We live, we lead, but we need to bring young generation to learn when we are still around, so that when we are gone, we know that the organization is in the safe hands. Comrade, as president, we are correctly raising these issues of gatekeeping, which we fully accept. Makhulu Lidwaba and Comrade Sidney Mufumadi, when they were elected to the leadership of the Federation in 1985, they were both younger than 30 years old. NgeSizulu ke kuye kuthiwe ubudoda bukhulelwa inkunzi sematholeni. Angisho ke comrade ukuthi, as Comrade President, you were suggesting that people will then wake up, want to be in the leadership. People must be taken through the culture of the organization to be able to lead. This gathering, comrade, is not just a mere formality, though it does fulfill an important constitutional and organizational requirement of the Federation. But substantively, it constitutes a coming together of the most critical detachment of the working class, those who are at the forefront of building the foundation of a new, just and equitable society. The CEC of the Federation has recognized this hard work and the spirit of discipline which we are demonstrating, notwithstanding the difficulties and the deepening contradiction we face. The crisis of capitalism are deepening, and so much that we must be resolute to fight and win by always acting to mobilize, to unite and focus the working class struggling against the real enemies of the workers and the poor. Let me take this opportunity to directly address the national crisis and the scourge of huge proportion that is tearing our society and the country apart. The shock of women abuse, the question of the femicide, and the abuse of children. Every comrade must make it his or her mission that we defend the dignity and respect of our women in our home, in the workspaces, in church, in communities, and everywhere. Not one woman more, that should be our rallying cry. As we engage on this important question, we must avoid, comrade, in taking decisions informed by emotions and anger. Yes, for those who may not have been visited by these terrible happenings, may be argued by those who have been victims that they don't understand the situation. But comrade, we must not take easy decisions. We must not, through our frustration, make the views that has been expressed in the last 3 weeks or so. There are comrades who are so angered by this that they are calling for a state of emergency. There are comrades who are angered in the society that we are calling for a death penalty. Yes, when you are hurt, when you are angry, when you feel vulnerable, sometimes you ask for the punishment that it's deserving. But workers, comrade, must remember the state of emergency, what it means. It means we suspend the Constitution. That's what state of emergency means. And as we all know, comrade, those who are a little bit older will remember the experience of the state emergency. It is a state that a working class must never wish for, that we must suspend our Constitution to deal with these issues. Equally, the issue of death penalty, particularly when the access to the justice system is still not available to the many people in our country. Justice in South Africa favors the rich and is very, very expensive. We know, comrade, that there are people who have been on a death row who has come out just because they were convicted without getting the best legal representation. So we understand the situation, but let's not through our emotion as something that is going not to work for the majority and the poor and the working class. SADTU is a leader in education in our country and therefore directly involved in most of our community work. Teachers are the community leaders or the light of every community, and therefore, through you, we are expected to lead our community and guide on critical issues. But to do that, we need to be example and the light that inspire confidence. And that's why we salute you, that you have been outspoken even in difficult issues that affect our children, our communities, and our countries and our alliances. This Congress, comrade, in our view, should spend quality time discussing the environment in which educators find themselves. There's no doubt in everybody's mind that a society without educators will be a lost society. That every life starts with the teacher from the early child development and through our living journey, there has to be someone that imparts knowledge to the society. That is a teacher. If that is the case, then why the society, why we are not celebrating and recognize the critical, almost prerequisite for anyone to succeed? Many working parents, all of us here, comrade, we leave our kids at the hands of teachers at an early stage. They teach them to speak, they teach them how to eat, they teach them how to learn. We as educators, all of us here, were the products of a teacher. We produce lawyers, doctors, engineers, scientists, ministers, including presidents. Why then the society does not recognize this? Why, when one educator or a member of the society who happens to be a teacher does something wrong, all teachers are painted with the same brush? Why teaching is not regarded as one of the critical professions? We need to ask, in our view, this debate. I want to confess, comrade, that government, not only in our country, they fail to recognize this professional as a critical and important one that we cannot live without, that make the society to look down at the teachers. It starts from our own governments. Poor working conditions. Our educators live in shacks. The school environment has become so dangerous, a dangerous workplace. People and students regard and look down at the educators to an extent that students have guts to attack and even kill teachers at school. What is wrong? And I've said it starts from the high office. If we don't recognize this professional, and I'm happy that the president have indicated and committed himself here, that the wages that the teachers are getting does not reflect the contribution that the teachers do. We hope and we must hold the president that when the wage negotiation comes, we must remind them of that. The horrifying levels of unemployment and poverty and inequality in our country, as Comrade has indicated, clearly indicate that we need to do something and do it urgently. When 10 million people are unemployed, comrade, when 10 million people are unemployed is a crisis. I normally relate this issue, Comrade Solima Paila, that at one point in time, I was working here in Johannesburg during the apartheid time, and I went to the office where you normally get a permission to work in Johannesburg. You need to get what we call it a permit to register to work in Johannesburg, because we did not have what was regarded as Section 10(1)A. Those who are born in a township, they know the Section 10(1)A. But if you are coming outside to get a permission to be in Johannesburg, I went to a restaurant and buy food, meat and pap. I put it down on my table. I went to get pepper and salt a bit. When I returned to the table, I found a very able man eating the plate that I had bought. Initially, I thought, no, maybe this is the wrong plate. This is not where I left my plate. I look around and I look at the food that I have bought. I recognize this is my food. But this able man just look at me with one eye, and I realize, no, I'm in problem. I'm in really difficult problem. And then I walk away. And it told me it was the period of the survival of the fittest. If we don't address the unemployment, comrade, it is not going to be addressed by the police. There are too fewer, as Comrade Mapila was saying, the message to his president, that you can't arrest all the hungry people. No jail in South Africa can accommodate 10 million people. They are larger than the population of Swaziland, Botswana, Namibia, and Zimbabwe brought together. Just imagine if all the people from Mozambique and Zimbabwe come to South Africa all at once, what will our police do? Absolutely nothing. So we need to address this issue, Comrade President. It is in that context which we don't want, as you, Comrade President, you try your utmost best to provoke, but we are not going to take the bait, that the Treasury document is wrong in a manner that it's not presented in NETLEC. Comrade Madiba, comrade, in 1985, when we established NETLEC, he said he wanted to promulgate a law called NETLEC Act, so that all socio-economic issues must go to NETLEC. It was for the reason that he knew that if it's not through an act, the minister that will follow were going to ignore NETLEC. So it's an act now, it's a law that all socio-economic issues must be presented in NETLEC. So in our response to our friend, Comrade Tito, we said, Comrade Tito, present your views in the right forum. So we're not rejecting out of hand. We're trying to educate him that the law that they respect must be respected at all times, irrespective of who you are. Bring it to NETLEC. The second issue, comrade, we said in the CEC, we must read the document. We have read that document, 78 pages. We have read each and every sentence, each and every word. We analyze it, and we say there are elements and pockets of good, but overall is a wrong document. But we are prepared to engage. We said bring it to NETLEC. We have written to him and the president. We got ideas, Cosatu. Cosatu, comrade, all the times, we are not lacking ideas. But when we promulgate a law in January, asking for a national minimum wage, 8 months down the line, the Minister of Finance says it's wrong. He's not only ridiculing us, he's ridiculing the government that he represents. People are asking, how in 8 months' time you can say you want a national minimum wage, 8 months down the line you say it is wrong? How can we agree that the bargaining council agreement must be extended to everybody else? 9 months later you say it is wrong, without addressing the NDP. We and the party have told our government that the NDP is wrong. They said, no, it is right. A few years later, without coming to us and the party and said, you are right, They said the NDP targets are not going to be met, but they are not saying we must review it. They propose something else. So we said, let's make them come, we are prepared to engage. But secondly, comrade, we are raising the issues of the prescribed assets. We think we must engage on this matter, comrade. In two fronts, where is your money invested? Where is this 3 or 1 trillion rand or 3 trillion rand from the PIC is invested? Many of you, comrade, you don't know. What you know is that you got money that is reflecting in your statements. But if people can ask, Papa, where is your money? Safe to say that is in a bank. You don't know where your money is. The point we are making is that we must follow and we must know where our money is. And the money must work for the people, for the owners. The teachers and many of you, comrade, you could be owning banks, comrade. 3 trillion rand, comrade, you can be owning anything, but you don't have access to housing. You can't educate your children. But where is your money? Is in the private sector, is invested everywhere else. When we are trying to introduce prescribed asset business, people say no, you can't invest in government because government can't look after your money. They said it's only them that can know how to use your money. Now we find it strange because we know Stenhoff was not a government entity. We lost millions in there. J. Brown was not in the public sector. We lost millions there. The issue we're making, comrade, is that we must invest our money where we want and be able to follow and be able to engage in a manner that money works for the people, not for the private sectors. So let me move quickly, Comrade President. And I know that Comrade Mapaila is still coming, so that I can try to be short. That you are doing a wonderful work, comrade. We must recognize. But we also must recognize, comrade, that education is not neutral. That's why we need teachers that are mobilized, that are ideological in order to impart the knowledge. As comrade were indicating earlier, Comrade President, government can't build the size of classes that they are building. We can't have a class of 30 kids and expect quality education and quality teaching. The schools that are producing the 7 A's, comrades, in a class, sometimes they got 8 students. The teacher can spend time and quality time teaching. The one for the African child, 30 to 40. How can you correct and pay quality time on 40 to 70 kids, comrade? How possible is that? How can you mark quality in a quality form for 70 kids? So it's not surprising that during our time, the teachers dividing class into 2. The exercise this side must go to the other kids this side, and the other kids this side. and you said they must mark for themselves. And we know during our time, comrade, if you want to get all the answers right, is not to write anything, hoping your friend will take your exercise. As the teacher gives answers, he writes the answers there, and you get 100%. Come the end of the year, you fail dismally. It is then when the parent take a stick to the teachers and say, "Why did you fail my kid?" Because all the the marks before the end of the year was 100%. So we need to engage, comrade, and the Federation is engaging on these few issues I want just to raise, and I won't go to them because of time. The progressive microeconomic policies we are raising in the alliance consistently with the party. It must be addressed, comrade, so that we can be able to build our economy. It's not going to be a magic one, comrade. We're not going to pray for the economy to grow. We must do something differently. We must build a democratic and developmental state, comrade. And in that context, comrade, Cosatu and the Public Sectors Union must debate, comrade, what kind of service is expected from a Cosatu member, and engage in a very qualitative way and address all the problems. We must fight against the state capture, corruption, and looting, comrade. We know, and I don't want to repeat these issues, that those who are there, they are fighting back, comrade. They are fighting very hard. We must continue fighting against all forms of inequality and discrimination and abuse. We must build a true and substantive unity of workers in action. Comrade President, we take your wise word on this thing of unity. We have to work very hard to build Cosatu. It is not at this time, comrade, that we must find ourselves taking steps backwards in dealing with those issues. We know, comrade, that being big got its own challenges. That being powerful has its own challenges. But we must spend time in dealing with those issues. Our campaign, comrade, is that on the jobs, we must stand up and be able to fight. Nobody ever dreamed, comrade, that there can be a retrenchment in the public service. No one. The older generation, when you're a teacher, you'll be a teacher, and if you are lucky, grow within the hierarchy of the teaching, ube a principal, uze mhlawumbe ube inspector, and retire as a teacher. You never dream for looking for other jobs. Whether you're a police, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a nurse, it was like a job for life. Today, comrade, we are told that even the public services want to retrench people. It is in that context, comrade, that we must fight this retrenchment, comrade. Let's not take them lightly. It is in this context, comrade, that SADTU, our financial union, is saying they want to be the first to take action on Friday. Now, the employers, comrade, are up in arms about this decision. They say no strike must be declared illegal. We went to NETLEC in 2017. A certificate was issued that we must go on strike if we want to. We gave notice, we went on action, they says nothing. Now, because it's the banks, it's the union in the banking sector that says we want to go on a protest action. It's not even a strike, a protest action for 24 hours. Busa says no. SASPO can't go there. So if we spend the whole day today in court arguing that SASPO action must be declared illegal, not only that one, even the Cosatu one. The judgment, comrade, is reserved, will be delivered tomorrow at 10 o'clock. If we win, comrade, we must mobilize and get more people to support the action on Friday. If we lose, we're going to go back to step one. We have told the employer that their aim is to postpone the pain, but the pain is coming. Whether they succeed tomorrow, because they are worried people are getting paid, we're going to target the same date in the month where we'll be able to take this issue, comrade. We need your support. We need the support of everybody. When you get frustrated and there's no money in the machine, ungathi niyayibona le SASPO, uthi ile capitalism esifaka kule nto esifaka kuyo. One comrade debate and a thorough debate on ESCOM, comrade, is expensive. There's a looting by those who are employed in high position. But there's a looting by the society, comrade. We are asking ESCOM and government, why is Nyoga, Nyasnosmos is Nyoga? Those people who are stealing electricity on a daylight, illegal connection, what is the state doing about these things? We said we must be able to engage on this issue, comrade. The recruitment, comrade, is so important. The alliance, and I think, comrade Mapaila, you may want to talk about these issues. But, comrade, we're not wrong when we're here and elected the ANC leadership that we have. We were right. We're right when we're mobilizing for the ANC to win election. But, comrade, the Luthuli House, comrade, is letting us down. No alliance meeting, no alliance political council, no alliance economic summit. But we have taken a resolution, comrade, that we can't throw away this ANC because that's what they want. This is our ANC. We must rally behind those who are doing good work within the ANC. We must defend this leadership. We must be able to mobilize our people until the ANC is able to come out of the difficulties that they are in. As we push and support the African National Congress, we do not forget that there might be other people belonging to the political party. And we have been successful, comrade, in uniting the union and be able to support good ideas. Indeed, we are going to work for unity. Don't hunt in the zoo to say to our union, if you want to hunt and recruit those that are not belonging to a Cosatu union. We're saying to them, yes, Comrade President, they need to know that a frog does not drink all the water in the ponds in which it lives. If they recruit within the union, they're destroying the fibre that make us to stick together. We wish this Congress all the success, and we have no doubt, comrade, that will make us proud.